Hello everybody!
Hi!
It's the Literary Aunts again. We're going to talk about the end of the 30 Years' War and Prussia, a territory which was seriously damaged during the war. Last time we approached the end of the 30 Years' War. In 1648 the war got officially to an end with the Westphalia peace treaty. It took a couple of years to work out the treaty though.
Yeah, because there were many parties, too many parties, probably sitting at the same table, and they couldn't get along with each other. So it took a couple of years to work out the Westphalia peace treaty. In 1648 the war got officially to an end, and one of the milestones in the Westphalia peace treaty was the acknowledgement of different religious beliefs. So we had Catholics, Lutherans and Calvinists. And even if a monarch belonged to a different belief than his subjects, he could not oblige them to deny their own faith. So there was also another issue which was very important at that time, and that is the devotio domestica principle was acknowledged publicly, so that everyone could profess their religion at home. Theoretically, even if you don't belong to the three main streams, you could do whatever you wanted in your house.
If you can practice your religion at home safely, then you don't have to claim territory in order to profess it.
Yeah, so don't forget that the 30 Years' War broke out supposedly for religious reasons, yeah. At least at the beginning. Then it developed in another way, but this was the beginning.
So let's get back to the main point.
Yeah, now we have Prussia, a territory which was seriously damaged. It was devastated during the 30 Years' War because there were troops coming from Sweden, from Denmark and the other parts of the Holy Roman Empire of German nation, because this is the way it was called back then. And they fought like hell there, and usually at the expense of common people. Buildings, houses were of course destroyed or damaged, and Prussia at the end of the war lay literally in ruins. Above all, Brandenburg, the region around Berlin, lost half of its population during the war, so this was really horrible. The main issue back at that time for monarchs, for Prussian monarchs, was of course the financial situation, but not only that. There was another very important issue, that is army. We have been talking a lot about mercenaries, so you know that there were no armies during the 30 Years' War, but now at the end of this war, the concept of standing armies was very present.
It was a need.
Yeah.
There actually was a need for it. Yes, particularly in a territory which is surrounded on all sides by other territories, people with ideas about expanding their territories. So,
yeah, have a look at this, for example, very quickly.
Extremely quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. So you see this light blue spot here, and then here in the middle of Prussia. Well, these two light blue spots were Prussia actually.
Two separate physical entities.
Yeah, they were separate. I mean, Prussia at that time looked like a jigsaw puzzle. The main issue at that time was a standing army which could protect both the population and the territories, of course.
Yes.
And so what happened? The king wanted to build up a standing army with well-trained soldiers who got paid, fed, and dressed, of course.
But who was going to pay for it?
Common people.
Of course.
At least, yeah, at least at the beginning, because even if you're poor, you have gone through a shocking experience like the 30 Years' War, so you have a very bad experience, you still remember it, and you'll do anything just to be able to build up or help your king to build up a standing army, which maybe if there had been a standing army during the war, it would have protected you. Prussia was very lucky because at the end of the 30 Years' War, a king came to power, he got in charge, and his name was Frederick.
Ah, Frederick, the Fredericks.
Yeah, the Fredericks. It's not a joke.
Yes, it's like George the First, George the Second, George the Third, Frederick the First, Frederick the Second.
Yeah, you get everything mixed up when you talk
very
about
confusing.
Prussian kings and so on. But he was one of the many Fredericks we are dealing with during Prussian history. His strength, this Frederick's strength, was that not only military or a strategic one, he was also far-sighted and forward-thinking.
And so what does that mean, far-sighted and forward-thinking?
Yeah, well, as you know, being forward-thinking and far-sighted, well, these are two very contemporary concepts. But back then, these concepts can be displayed through two examples mainly, because two things, well, or maybe two important things happened. Number one. Well, in 1671, Prussia accepted 500 Jewish families escaping from Vienna. What did it mean?
So first of all, why were they escaping? Was this typical?
Maybe for religious reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
But why did he accept them? What was the advantage of him accepting 500 families? Because that's not 500 individuals. That's a large number of people. The families, the retinues. What else came with them?
They got political asylum and the right to trade.
And they probably already had a massive trade network.
Yeah, an international trade network, and international financial connections. They represented a huge asset for a poor country like it was Prussia back then.
Absolutely, because if you think that the trade routes reached all the way to China. All the way to China going east, and all the way to the Arctic Circle going west and north.
And then, don't forget at the time, the American colonies.
Yes.
And then another famous example. Well,
Number two.
Number two. Yeah, in 1685, 20,000 French Huguenots were banished from France for political and religious reasons, and Prussia accepted them as well.
20,000?
Yes.
Well, that's a huge number.
And they were special people too.
How were they special?
They were special people because they were specialized craftsmen. They were bankers, they were merchants, and they gave new impulses to the local economy.
Yes.
The very last thing that maybe you are wondering, but why aren't they talking about the Holy Roman Empire specifically?
Yeah, what happened to the Holy Roman Empire?
The Holy Roman Empire. What happened to the Holy Roman Empire?
Yes, what happened to the Holy Roman Empire?
At the end of the 30 Years' War in 1648, the Holy Roman Empire was a political pastiche. It was a patchwork.
And probably a bit of a myth at that time as well, or just a legal foundation, but the reality was changing.
Yeah, very fast. Over 300 smaller and bigger territories.
Ooh.
Over 1,500 night sittings. It was a nightmare, above all for cartographers.
Okay, children, today you're going to draw the states in the Holy Roman Empire.
What was it like, actually? It was fading away, simply, and especially in the north of Europe. A rising star which was taking advantage of this situation, and this rising star was
Prussia.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a vacuum in history. Wherever there's a gap, somebody comes in, and this is where Prussia started coming in.
So next time we will talk about this development, how the impossible, because Prussia was a very, very poor country, a bitterly poor country, who made this change possible.
I'll give you a hint. The name starts with F. Frederick.
Bye.
Bye.